Holy buckets. Welcome to the State Fair, everybody. I found out 2 seconds ago I'm doing the intro, so I'm sure they're going to be amazing. Round of applause for Alive and Kicking. That was an awesome show. Holy buckets. You got to tell, are you guys selling merch? Yeah. Okay, cool. We'll hit up the merch tent later. Hi, I'm Brittany. I am with the Tom Barnard Morning Show podcast. And I'm going to give some intros to these gentlemen here on our panel. We've got Michael Bryant. Bradshaw and Bryant. There. Pretty good. We've got Ralph Basham from Basham Cosmetics. I'm skipping you two.
Skipping you two.
Here is Tevin from, just being hot and Tevin and young. Must be nice. We have the legendary Don Shelby. We found out, how many days have you done the fair?
320 days.
Nice.
Now 321. You're welcome. And of course, Tom Barnard.
Yeah.
I heard almost zero booze.
Did you boo?
There is almost no booze. Okay, we'll take it.
That's because you drank it all when you used to be. Oh, she walked right into that. Which one? Well, she did back in the day. I will tell you that. Were you in Alive and Kicking, or do you support? Did you belt out a tune? Did you do At Last? At last, my love has come along. Woo! Come on, sing with me.
Oh, yeah.
I love that song. It's one of the greatest songs of all time. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for coming out here. A beautiful day. I kind of worry about these once in a while because I've been to the State Fair before when it was about $1.35. You ever been out here when it's hot? It's a thrill, isn't it? There's no question. So everything going well? So far, so good. The fair is good. Nice of all the people to come along. Tevin is my adopted son.
Correct.
So we bring him along just for the hell of it.
Yeah, they have a quota they have to meet. So
you know what's great about this? You know what's really great? Yeah, we have a quota. I forgot about that. And the fact about that is that some people don't believe that he is my adopted son. And I said, why not? He said, because he's a lot better looking than you. So thank you. I really appreciate it. Oh, you have no answer?
I'm not going to disagree with that. I'll take a compliment.
Okay,
We should
well, thank
keep
you
it
so much. Boy, I think the last time I appeared at the State Fair, I was at WDGY in 1975. So it's been a while. I don't know if the Beatles still had a hit then or not, but I'm thinking about it. But no, it's a different experience. I've never been. You ever been to a state fair in another state? Because I never have. So, you have before. What are they all huge? They're all pretty big. How's the food at most of them? Yeah, that's what I've heard. That's exactly why I asked you that question. I heard the food here at this state fair is really, really good. And we came out, and Don had his foot-long hot dog hanging from his zipper for about an hour.
It was very classy in front of my 1-year-old child.
Nope. Oh, look, she's covered her mouth. Oh, great. That's all we need to hear. Don Shelby, ladies and gentlemen. You know what's so great about that? By the way, it's kind of a coincidence sitting here today because somebody was going, people love to go after me for this and that. And the other things, oh, my God. Everybody thinks I'm really, really conservative. And I'm pretty middling about some things I'm here and some things I'm there and all the rest of it. I said, let me run something by you to see how hardline I am on either party. If I'm really conservative, why would anybody at this table talk to me? Because they're all really liberal. They wouldn't even, well, Ralph, you're not all that liberal.
I'm not all that liberal, but I'm not all that conservative either.
No, that's exactly right. So you think we can ever get back to an area where we just go, hey, you know what? You're a Republican, you're a Democrat, but I like you anyway?
We got a strong no.
Yeah. No, we cannot. I really hope we can. There's so many great things like this. The fact that you're here watching a bunch of hunyucks talk on stage, it's an indication to me there must be a God. You know what I mean? Why else would you come? What's Black Hawk?
It's a band.
A helicopter.
Oh, it's the country. Okay, are you in the band?
We'll see if this works out here.
Uh-oh.
We're checking out.
Wait a minute. Can we hold up for a second? I just saw Brittany run for the first time.
Thank you.
I almost passed out. What was that all about?
I think it's part of being a mom.
Yeah, maybe it is.
What, are you expecting him to sing a song, Brittany?
I didn't hear the question. I was testing out to see if this mic worked out
he
here.
wanted to sing a song for me. Well, we'll get her to do At Last, then you can do a country song.
Yeah.
Are you a big country fan?
Yes, I am.
Anybody that kicked you out? Like, I got to be honest with you, Don Williams was one of the greatest singers I've ever heard.
He's good, but I like the newer country better.
I
know you don't, but I heard it the other day on your show that you don't like the newer country.
What did we play?
No, you don't play. No, your show.
No, but I mean, what didn't I like?
You said you like what is it, R&B? You don't.
Yeah,
like
I'm a big
that,
R&B fan.
Yeah,
you can't hear that anywhere anymore.
Yeah, you don't like the new rap stuff, and you said you don't like the newer country. I think that's what I heard.
I do tell you. Well, see, I grew up. My mother was a big country fan, so it was a lot of Eddie Arnold and stuff like that in her generation. And those boys could sing. Patsy Cline. There's ever a better singer in life than Patsy Cline. Yeah. I mean, my God. Now that country I do like.
I found someone.
Uh-oh.
I found Reggie.
Reggie.
Is it the father of Go-Go?
Yeah.
No, we're still
Oh my
looking
God,
on that.
Reggie's here. Reggie, get up here, you pill. We got to find a chair for Reggie. I just want Reggie and Kevin to stand up, and I want Tevin to insult Reggie.
I mean, Reggie's bigger than I am.
What are you, 6'4"?
I pick. Yeah, but I mean,
He's
I
like
pick
6'6".
fights that I can win.
You want to pick fights you can win?
A round of applause for
Reggie, how are
Reggie.
you, pal?
He is the owner of Must Be Rough Dog Treats,
Can we steal
and
a
I can
chair?
confirm my dogs inhaled them. So definitely worth checking out. Where are you at the fair?
We're up in the pet pavilion.
Nice.
Oh, nice.
Did you watch any animals get neutered or spayed?
No, not yet. Not yet.
All right.
What?
They neuter
not
or
a thing.
spayed them in front of you at the pet pavilion.
I think it's Spade.
No way.
Oh, I'm sorry. I spay. I know you didn't understand me when I said it.
You know, off mic, I'll tell you why you shouldn't use the word you used.
Okay, perfect.
If you know what I mean. So let's go with. So Reggie,
Yo.
we got to find you a chair.
All right.
I'm
Is there
on
a
it.
chair right here?
Brittany,
Well,
running
I
grab.
thought they were, too. But you know, we had a lot of people showing up. Stand up next to them, would you please? I think.
Oh, here we go.
Oh, really? Really? Is that what- Reggie came on the show. What day was it this week?
Tuesday?
Was it Tuesday, Wednesday? When did you come on?
What is today?
Today's Saturday.
What's today? Right. Were you up last night drinking a little bit? Is that...
No, baking treats.
Oh, you were baking treats for the dog. Oh, by the way, Reggie has a company. What's the name of the company again?
Must be rough.
Must Be Rough, RUFF. Great stuff. And we brought it home for Jude. We have a dog, Jude. He's like 11, 12 years. I was only kidding about a chair. I don't want him to sit down. No, I'm just kidding. But we brought it home, and Reggie makes these treats that look like people donuts.
Yeah.
Do they have a lot of like sugar in them? And
No sugar.
that's what I thought.
No sugar
So-
at all.
So they're teaching dogs to eat
Thank
people.
God she finally got rid of the microphone. Don't have to listen to it anymore.
Right.
No, we'll get her back. Don't worry about it. So how did you come up with the idea to make these dog treats?
Well, like you say, I grew up on a farm in Mississippi, and the farm dogs were basically eating the house food. And, the farm dog will live to be 20 years old. So I took that concept,
Okay.
try to make some treats for them, high quality, human grade ingredients, and hope that the Doberman that we have, Kirby, will live to be 20 years old. So kind of
That's
turned
great.
into a business that way.
It's
We're in
terrific.
Mississippi.
Jackson, Mississippi.
Jackson. Oil
Jackson.
Can Boyd, I think, is where he's from. I think.
Who's that?
Oil Can Boyd. Who's Oil Can Boyd? Is a Red Sox pitcher. He's great.
Oh, God. It's the Red Sox. He's going to lose his mind. No question. No, I was talking to Reggie about the fact that I spent a lot of time down after the hurricane down there.
Yep.
Catherine and I spent a lot of time in Jackson and Biloxi, Mississippi, and places like that. And I think it's highly underrated. You guys ever been to Mississippi or Louisiana? It's highly underrated. I think the people are very, very nice. Got great places, great food, all the rest
great
of it.
food, great music.
Great music. It's true.
Yeah.
That's a good thing.
Yeah, yeah.
I still want you to, when he's not looking, like sucker punch Tevin right in the side. Bam!
No,
No, not happening.
no. He's a
too
lot
big.
younger than me. He might.
Ladies and gentlemen, Don Shelby is with us today.
Thank you. Thank you very much, everyone.
Do you still consider yourself the greatest news anchor of all time?
Yes.
Yes, I do. As a matter of fact.
No, I don't. Dave Moore.
Dave Moore was
For
yes, one of the best
local
of all time.
anchors in line, Cronkite, probably the best.
Yeah, no question. I told you, though, Dave Moore made me cry the first time I ever met him. He did. I love Dave. Dave Moore was like a legend in our house, all the rest of it. And so I finally get a chance to meet him. This is 36 years ago, something like that. Maybe, 37 years ago. So I'm, oh my God, I get to meet Dave Moore. This is going to be amazing. My mother loved him and all the rest of it. And as he comes up to me, he goes, Tom, I'm a little nervous. And I said, about what? He goes, well, you're a legend.
Oh,
I'm like,
wow.
Shut up, you
Wow.
pan. I'm like crying. Because think about that. For Dave Moore to come up and say something like that to you, it's like, you did that on purpose.
Yes.
Wasn't he amazing?
He was amazing. And one of the things that made him amazing was he was also a good person. Besides
He's a
being
very nice person. It's true.
the giant in the industry and a household name for everyone, whether they watch Channel 4 or not.
Oh, yeah, everybody knew Dave
KS fans and WUSA or KNSB or whoever they were watching at the time, they still knew who Dave Moore was.
Oh, yeah.
And that's what we call the Q rating. If you know somebody can pick their picture out and say what they do, then their numbers keep going up. So Dave Moore was one time in a state rated higher than the governor.
Wow.
Oh, yeah.
More
absolutely true.
More people knew him and what he did than the governor. But he was the kind of guy that, although he was the king of the newsroom. But if a intern came in and meekly sat at a desk and tried to be invisible,
Right.
he would be the first person to get up and go over to that intern and shake their hand and say, my name's Dave Moore.
Right.
Like they wouldn't know who in the hell that
exactly.
was.
It's
And
true.
he'd say, my name is Dave Moore. I sit over here. And if you have any questions, just come over and ask me. And that was the kind of milieu that we had in the newsroom that when he left, I tried to carry on, to try to have
you did
that
a hell
kind
of
of
a job, I will
camaraderie
say.
and family feeling.
Well, you did. You nailed it. There's no doubt about that.
Tom, same thing happened to my daughter. Same thing happened to my daughter when she was on The Young and the Restless. B.B. King was making an appearance.
B.B. King.
on
Love
there.
B.B. King.
And he was there, and he could play it a little tiny bit. And I said, well, go say hello to B.B. King. He's here because he's a fan of the show. So she said, no, I can't do that. I can't do it. None of the other young adults would go say hello to him. So finally, she led this group of young people up to him. She introduced herself, and he says, I know you. I know you. You're Mac on The Young and the Restless. So it was just a sweet thing because he was a fan of the show and a fan of her.
Yeah.
That's
So
how
cool.
life should be.
I have a B.B. King story. We, on the 5 o'clock news, we had suddenly an entire 3-minute segment fall out. The machine ate the tape. We didn't have the story. And so the producer said, we got a hole in the middle of the newscast. What are you going to do? And we can't re-edit it. And I said, well, B.B. King's over at Orchestra Hall for 2 nights.
yeah.
And they said, well, can you get him over here for an interview in 15 minutes? And I said, I don't know. I'll go over. I was just across the street, and I went across the street, stage door, and I said, may I see Mr. King? And I walked in and talked to him for a minute, told him what our problem was. And fortunately, tickets were not sold out that night. Good. And he said, with his promotions person, said, yeah, I'll do the show. So he came over, and I was anchoring with Ann Rubenstein, if you remember this woman.
I do.
And and she is so unhip, she called him, because she saw his name, she called him Beeb.
Beeb.
Yeah.
Beeb King.
I didn't know it was B.B. King. Beeb. but it sounded like she was being kind of familiar with him. And she said, Beeb, let me ask you a question. And, well, this woman's kind of hip. I mean, she must know this guy really well. No, not nosing from Adam. Anyway, after the interview, he was very gracious during the interview, and then she said, Beeb, what are you doing tonight after the gig? And he said, oh, we got to do another show later on tomorrow, but nothing tonight. We got anything going. She said, I'm having a little soiree over at my pad.
Oh, God.
Now, and I said, you didn't tell me anything about a soiree at your pad? And she said, no, it's just, it's a little something I'm doing. Bring the guys, bring Big Slick and the Mellow Fellows and all your horn section, and bring the band and everybody. Come over to my place. Don will pick you up. Don will pick you up.
There you go.
And then afterwards, he left, goes back to Orchestra Hall to rehearse, and I said, Ruby, what is this party about? She said, let me hold $100 so I can go to Byerly's and buy some stuff and get some liquor for this thing. Because this just came off the top of my head when I saw B. King. And that night, he comes to her house with Big Slick and the Mellow Fellows, with his entire horn section, with all the guitar players. And we stayed until 5 o'clock in the morning.
Wow.
And he held court, and it was the most amazing thing in the world. What a wonderful person this was. And that's where I got the line when I said, BB, toward the end of the night, baby, what is the downest, ugliest, loneliest blues line that you have ever heard? And he said, there's no problem for me to answer that. The answer is, nobody loved me but my mama, and she may be jabbing too.
I love that. That's a true story. That's a magnificent story right there.
What a gracious person he was. I mean, you could just see in his mannerisms, his body language when he met my daughter. It was very, very nice person.
So did he wear his hat the whole time?
Well, I don't remember a hat. I remember Lucille. I don't remember the hat.
Oh, you remember Lucille?
Yeah, Lucille.
The guitar.
His guitar was just,
somebody stole that guitar once and he got it back.
Yeah. No. And the other thing about it is when he would get nervous, he would play. So he would play. So when he was finally on set, you could hear him playing in the background because he was nervous to be there. Wow. He was just playing a little bit just to relax himself before they had this on-air kind of taping.
That's
very
very
nice,
cool.
very sweet.
A couple of people asked me if I do this, so if you've heard it before, I apologize. But they said, would you please... And by the way, my friend, I can see your muscles from here, you pain in the butt.
Talk about Eric.
Good guy right there. In any case, they asked me if I would do... and it's a true story. It's not a joke. It's a true story. Jeff Cesario, who is going to be on, I think, in a couple of weeks on the
he's
podcast.
going to be at Acme. Yeah.
He's going to be at Acme. Yeah, exactly. Jeff Cesario left Minneapolis, moved to Los Angeles to produce the Dennis Miller, I think.
I think so, yeah.
He produced the Dennis Miller show. Very, very funny guy, all the rest of it. So he flies out, and Jerry Seinfeld picks him up at the airport. And again, this is a 100% true story, the whole way the thing went. So Seinfeld picks him up at the airport. They go downtown. They're walking around, and he's showing them this, that, and the other thing, all this great stuff. And he goes, you know what? Rodney Dangerfield is over at the Comedy Store. You want to meet Rodney? And Cesario goes, oh, my God, I'd love to meet Rodney Dangerfield. Of course I want to meet him. That'd be wonderful. So they walk along, and literally the second they get there, Rodney's coming out of the building to get in his limousine. So they walk up, and Seinfeld says, Rodney, I just want to get your attention for a second. There's a new guy in town. Really, really talented guy. He's a great writer, great comedian, does great stand-up. He's going to produce Dennis Miller's new show. Rodney, I'd like you to meet Jeff Cesario. And there's a long pause, and Rodney goes, Cesario, huh? Italian, huh? Stick to the tumbling. It's one of the greatest stories. Isn't that phenomenal? It's like Italians aren't funny. That's basically what he said. And I love that story. That's 100% true story. No question about it.
The same thing happened. We were at the Comedy Store in L.A. There was a stand-ups we were watching, and there was a special.
Hey, don't be
guest.
taking my bike with you. You got to go. Don't be taking. I got to go home. I understand. Have a good day. Yeah, there you go. We got her. I love that. Anyway, what were you saying?
So we have a special guest tonight, and it's Rodney Dangerfield. And he was going to be on the Tonight Show later that week, so he wanted to come in and test out some material. So he goes and he warms up the crowd a little bit, and he reaches into his pocket and pulls out a piece of paper torn out of a not a three-ring binder, but a spiral notebook, all jagged on the edge.
Jokes.
And he unfolds it, and he starts reading through these jokes. And he would hit that punchline. People would laugh, hit the punchline, comes to the last joke, hits the punchline, and there's not a sound in the place. And he's up there and he says, "Really?" He says, "I thought that was the best joke of them all." So he was really exposing himself. That is, he passed a few months after that. Yeah. So those people, comedians really are exposing themselves all the time when they're on stage. And even when they get mature, they're after it all the time because there's new material always.
I had an interesting experience at a comedy club in New York. There were probably, it wasn't open mic, but they had 7 comedians. 6 of them were white, and they did normal sets, chunks of their thing. There was one African American there, and he was last. And I was there with my daughter who was going to Columbia. I brought her to the comedy club. She was dressed up really well. I was in a 3-piece suit, Boston high roll collar. I was, cufflinks. I was doing the thing. My white hair, and I had bought a table very close to the stage. And so the brother comes up and starts doing his set, but he keeps looking at me.
At you.
And looking at me.
All right.
And I'm thinking, can this guy possibly be recognizing me from TV? I'm just wondering when people do stare at you from a while.
Yeah.
And so he's just looking at me. And finally he says, "Hold up, I have to stop my routine here." And he points at me and he says, "Ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce to you."
Oh, God.
And I'm getting this cocky, I'm like, okay, he did recognize me. "Let me introduce to you the whitest man in America. Please stand." And I did stand up and take a bow to a round of applause.
Because you are the whitest man.
I was the whitest man in America.
Do you remember who the comedian was?
No.
God, I wonder who it was.
I'm going to look him up. I'll find him.
Who's your favorite comedian, Tom?
And I want to ask everybody in the audience this question as well, because, different forms of comedy, but number one overall would have to be Richard Pryor. Because he changed comedy forever. But the problem is, do you think in today's world, how touchy we are, he would never break big?
I think so.
You think he still
I think
would?
so, because, you have Dave Chappelle, who definitely lives on the edge.
Yeah,
and
that's true.
You're going to get where... it would be definitely tougher for him to get there, but I think he would get there eventually because he was undeniably funny.
He's not going to put those albums out with those names anymore.
Well, I can't.
you gotta change the name.
Hey, do you have a new copy of? Oh, that's right. I can't say the name of the album.
Yeah.
Every album had the big N in the title.
Sure did.
What are you doing to me, man?
It's a different time back then.
It was a different time back then.
Definitely.
I used to have his kids on all the time after he got really sick, and Richard Jr. would come on, and Rain would come on, the nicest people. So a lot of the times he had to be a good person because his kids are both very, very nice people. So, but I don't. He changed comedy forever. I think I was 15 when he first broke, and he did. He changed it forever. So they were very, very funny people. Don't get me wrong, but and I can't really use any of the lines he said because there were children here. So I really can't do that. But the line that he had about The Exorcist, he said, "You notice one thing about that movie, The Exorcist? Ain't any black people in the movie. You know why?" And again, I have to change what he actually did say. He said, if there's a black father in The Exorcist, you walk in the room, kid flopping around in bed, he'd go, girl, what's wrong with you?
Yeah, I can imagine what he said.
Yeah, you know the word he actually used, which was not girl, but, No, I think Richard Pryor changed comedy forever.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any question about that. He had all these, because he would not steer clear of anything.
No.
Like, you're a big fan of Louis. I mean, Louis did a lot without swearing. I mean,
Louis Armstrong?
No. Louis Anderson.
Louis Anderson. Yeah, I know. Louis was phenomenal.
As funny as he could be without swearing. It was all clean. Everything.
Isn't that
he did,
crazy to think? Like, you think back at his comedy and you're like, oh yeah, you walk away not realizing it till later. Like, there was no swears in that.
Yeah, I didn't even realize
nothing.
it.
Right.
Nope.
Yeah.
So
I mean, it's very, very sad that, you know how many people during COVID, we lost, 7 major comedians,
Yes.
I believe?
Yeah.
7 of them. Louis Anderson certainly was one of them. The first time we ever went out to dinner, because I met Louis Anderson because we were doing a show in Las Vegas at Treasure Island back in the day. So that was 30 years ago or whatever it was. And all of a sudden there's this hubbub, and in walks, I had never met him, in walks Louis Anderson. And he's got 22 boxes of Krispy Kreme donuts with him. 22 boxes of donuts. So everybody in the crowd was very, very happy about that. There's
Did
no
he
question.
give them to anybody? Or?
Oh, he passed it all out.
That would be such a Louis joke to say, did you guys bring any for yourself? Yeah.
So we go out to dinner. Catherine, my lovely wife, and I go out to dinner with Louis Anderson. We're just sitting around the table. And I'd never met him. That was the first day and all the rest of it. And he goes, Catherine, I have to ask you a question. It's not a very good impression, but
No,
it's
it's
as close as I
great.
can get.
Spot on.
And he goes, Catherine, I have to ask you a question. I've never met you two before. Do you get the same perception of Tom that I do, that he's really self-involved? Yeah, thanks. I feel much better about myself now, Louis.
How did they answer?
That's where I was going to say, how quickly did she say yes?
Yes. Yeah, that's exactly our impression
Why
of our
were you
father and
invited?
husband.
Why did we invite Tevin? That's what I want to know.
Louis was the nicest man I probably
very
ever
nice.
worked
Great
with.
guy.
He was, so I was like a low intern, like low on the low, and I was holding coats for people, taking photos with them after the show. I was just because nobody wanted their big winter coats with them. And he was so nice that he was like, he wanted to get a photo. There was a huge line. He would literally ask me, is it okay that you're staying late?
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm an intern of an intern of an intern. Like, yeah, like I will hold whoever. It was just like, nobody asked anything. He's like, I'm sorry, is this getting late to us? And I'm like, you can see me? Like, such a nice guy.
No, a terrific guy. And, we've been lucky with that whole situation.
Yeah.
Most people, matter of fact, we went through it just the other day, the people who weren't nice. And there was only about 4 or 5 of them, actually.
Yeah.
I mean, in general, when you had people come to the TV station, were they generally pretty pleasant?
Yeah.
See, that's good.
Yeah.
Radio, it's not always that way.
Oh.
It's just how it is.
I think it's more polarizing in radio.
Because I do things like, who the hell are you?
Yeah.
Things like that.
Yeah.
No, but
I wonder if this is true. I have found that my taste in comedy has shifted with the divisiveness and the anger and everything else that's in the air.
Yeah.
Because I want to feel angry, but I can't rationally be an angry
I don't
person.
blame you. You don't want to live
So
your
I
life
can't
like
do
that.
that outwardly. But I am in love with people like Lewis Black
Yep.
and people
Oh, yeah.
like
Oh,
Bill
yeah.
Burr, who
Bill
just
Burr's
tear me up because they say the things that I'm thinking.
Yeah.
They say the words that I am thinking that I can't say.
But a lot of them can't say a lot of things they used to.
No, but I'm not talking about
No, that's true. I bet that's
things
true, though.
things that are sensitive words that have been extracted, but they can talk around these words and make the word replacement the subject of a bit that they're angry about. And so I can get angry with them
Right.
by watching. So it's cathartic to watch comedy instead of laughing, to just shake my head. I go, damn right.
And Don,
Yeah, well, that's true.
And that's why I believe comedians should be absolute free speech. Absolute free speech. They can say whatever they want, and no one can say anything about what they say, because you need to be shown these things. You need to see these things. If you're uncomfortable, you should be, because you have to. That makes you introspective and reflective of what's going on in your life, what's going on socially for them. And that's why I'm incensed when anybody criticizes a comedian for doing anything, because they need to be able to say that stuff.
Yeah. Now, I agree 100% as a freedom of speech guy and a First Amendment guy. I think that is absolutely true. But the commercial market also has the power to get up and not buy tickets to your show if they are feeling offended. Right. So you have to accept the consequences of the choices you make as a performer. You can't go, well, the hell with all you people who don't buy my tickets.
Right.
No, that's not the way it works. I'm going to do something, and it's going to be on the edge, and you're going to decide whether to watch me and support me or not, and take that chance.
Yeah. Don, how does it feel when you're on TV? Do you feel like, as an anchor, when you're like in your career, you're allowed to have your opinion on the outside, or do you think that it's supposed to be just a pure neutral across the board with TV news?
Great question, Brittany. The times have changed.
Don't guess.
I won't go long. The times have changed so drastically that when every once in a while somebody will say to me after 12 years, "We miss you on television," and I've watched 12 years of television news. And the last person who asked me that, I said, I miss me on television. I miss the kind of straightforward, facts-only, no opinion stuff. There was a period of time in my life, and I don't often talk about this, where I felt that journalists shouldn't even vote.
Wow.
I felt that journalists should not even vote, because even a hint of a personal desire to see one side or the other win in any circumstance would have an effect of betraying itself in how you presented information. If you had a dog in the fight, you were going to tilt one way or the other. So we always had rules. You can't donate, you can't work for any political party.
Right.
But I would rather just facts tell the story. But what we have seen over the last 25 years is the opinion, a person's opinion, being elevated to the same level as an actual fact. So they say, respect my opinion as though it's a fact.
Yeah.
I don't have to respect your opinion. Nothing in the First Amendment said you have a right to express an opinion, but you don't have a right to expect respect of that opinion.
Right. Yeah.
So my daughter one time had given an opinion about something was going on in the Iraq War, and she said, "What do you think of that opinion, Daddy?" And I said, "That opinion stinks." And she said, "You don't have any right to say that. We're studying civics, and the Constitution says that you have to respect my opinion." No, I have to respect your right to express your opinion. You don't have any expectation that I will respect your opinion, because it's factless. It's based on nothing. It's based on what your friends are saying. It's not anything that you have thought about or considered. So, to answer your question, Brittany, I tried not to think about all of the things I now think about on a political framework, whether Democrat, Republican, Independent. Try not to think about those things even off the air, but always looking at how the facts stood up, and very much like Michael does in civil cases, looking at the preponderance of the available evidence and saying which weighs more, this conservative opinion or this liberal opinion? Which one factually carries the most weight and is most convincing?
That was good, because you went with the right hand for the conservatives and the left hand for the Democrats. That was good, man. You figured that out ahead.
I did not figure that out.
He's still figuring it out.
It's
I have
just
a question for you
it's just
about
natural. That makes me very uncomfortable. It's just natural. Oh, well, you use the hands at the same thing. I don't know. that may or may not be true. Now that we're in politics, so really, I think the commonality of the middle ground is people have to have personal responsibility. You say something, there's going to be a reaction. You're a comedian. If you don't do a good job, you put something out there that no one buys, well, it's a product no one buys. So it's personal responsibility. I think that's a common thread through most of that. But
I was
that's just
wondering,
me.
though, as a journalist, can you interview or cover people from both sides? I'm wondering, you talked about the journalists' opinions. Do they interview only the people that they share the same opinion with, or do they have to cover both?
In cable news, you're right that they will load up editorially people they interview who have a tendency to support that particular position that cable station has taken. It's not true of the networks.
Right.
The networks will still abide by, even though it is not a part of the law anymore, a notion of the fairness doctrine, that they will talk to both sides and deliver questions that are factually based, and then let those statements compete in the marketplace and let the people at home go, I like what that guy said.
Right.
Or I like what that woman said. I didn't like what that person said. And you saw a lot of the instant polling around the Republican primary debates that people were saying, well, she won and he won and nobody won and whatever. So, yes, but in the networks and when I was a serious practitioner of journalism, that I would interview any of them because I had taken the position of not thinking about whether this person was right or this person was wrong. But that has disappeared. Yeah. That's disappeared in journalism.
Now, about 6 months ago on the new show, the morning podcast, I made the statement that I've been watching the national news. Local news is a lot better, in my opinion, than national news because they're a lot more involved in the community anyway. But I said I've been watching the news. And then 6 months later now, an article came out in the Star Tribune that all that Fox and CNN do now is try to make you anxious and scared because they make more money. When you're scared and I got to tune in, I got to find out what's going on, something's got to be wrong, they make a lot more money by keeping you anxious and scared, which I think is disgusting.
It is absolutely true that the corporate competition drives a lot of particularly cable news, but it's also a genius marketing ploy.
Oh, it is. No doubt about that.
So I'll give you an example here on even a local basis. So KSCP and WCCO competed head to head and usually split the number of people who were watching television 30-30, right? That meant 40% did not watch television news.
Yeah.
CARE came in, SWSA, and said, that's who we're going for. The people who have televisions but are not watching television news.
Yeah.
We're going to create a product that they'll watch. And they ended up beating all of us.
Really?
Yeah, because they recruited people who were not news viewers to watch this show during the 6 and 10 o'clock operation. So the same thing happens with the division in the country, CNN, MSNBC, pair off and say, we'll never get any kind of conservative viewer, but we can get all of these others.
Mm-hmm.
And Fox says, we'll never get any liberal viewers, but we'll get all of these, and we'll program accordingly and tell them what they want to hear.
Yeah.
We will program to meet their confirmation bias. We will tell them, so they will, if they may already think something, we'll tell them what they say is true. And they'll say, I like that station. I like that angle.
Yeah.
I like that reporter because that reporter says things that make me feel good. And Fox does the same thing.
So that's it, yeah.
And all it is a market. So Roger Ailes, who designed this, said there's a big underrepresented market because the medium has been accused of being too liberal. What if we had something that was just for conservatives, so they owned all of the conservative market?
It's like
and it was
free
just
algorithm.
a commercial.
Yeah.
It was a commercial deal.
No, there's no question about that. Sir, you're not seriously hurt, are you? You're going to get over it, though? Because I got to tell you something. I've been watching you, and I had, for a couple of days, had to wear an arm brace back when I was a weightlifter because I tried to be such a big deal that I hurt my arm. And I was sitting just like you, and Catherine's sitting next to me. And he comes up to me, he goes, let me ask you a question. I say, what's that? And he goes, you're Tom, aren't you? I said, yeah. And this is Catherine? I said, yeah. What did you do that made her break your arm?
And then she gave a list, had a long list.
And it turned out, he wasn't that far off, if you know. You've heard the same deal.
Is it at least a cool story?
Should I go get it?
Right. And if you need
she's going to go get the story. I like it.
if you need a personal injury lawyer,
Yeah, we do
know
have
a guy.
Brittany on the scene.
So my dad died 3 weeks prior.
Oh, sorry to hear that.
It is October 15th of 21. I'm really just down. She tells me to go to the gym and exercise.
Oh, way to go.
Shocking that it's blamed on the wife. I'm so sorry.
I call her a nag and do all this stuff. She goes, no, it'll be good for you. And so I go to Lifetime Fitness, and I decide I'm just going to walk on a treadmill. I don't want to do much else. I take one step on the treadmill that had the emergency cord pulled off, and the track was in complete neutral. Woof.
Oh, wow.
This is the fourth surgery.
Oh, God. So, yeah, same story, basically.
Yeah. It's partially fused, and I had a nerve cut 2 weeks ago to be able to get.
So, do I understand your testimony, sir, to be that the accident was entirely her fault?
That's what I heard.
Okay,
Exactly.
thank you.
Exactly. By the way, George Carlin.
George Carlin. Great move.
Yeah.
That's a great call. One thing I have to make an observation because we only got about 10 minutes left up here. This is the first time I've ever been on stage where the audience got bigger rather than smaller.
Wait a minute. You guys are leaving.
Goodbye.
You're leaving.
Just as I say, it's like, okay, we got to go.
We got to go.
Thank you so much. Yeah, we got literally about 11 minutes. You should probably spin the wheel, go around the table. Michael Bryant has been ruining my life now for how many
Jump by Ralph here.
Well, no, we're going this way.
Oh, okay.
Okay, just for that, we're going this way. That's right. We're going Brittany. So, Brittany, how many years have you been going to the fair?
How many years have I been, for work or just in general?
You pick.
Oh gosh, well, we had a lot of kids in the family, so we usually roll in here. I must have been 10. And my mom there's my mom Beverly with my little go-go.
Go.
She likes it if you pretend that she looks like my sister, not my baby, my mom. And my stepdad used to always give us $50, which was a big deal because there were 7 of us kids. We'd each get $50, and he'd say you can spend it any way you'd like. And I would immediately buy a T-shirt, food, and all this stuff, and be done with the money. And then my stepbrother, Mike, who's far smarter than me, would always just pocket it and then ask for bites of food. And I was like, that just showcased us as a family exactly. So, yeah, I love the State Fair.
Still didn't answer the question, though. How long have you been at the State Fair?
Right.
That's kind of what she's all about.
We appreciate the story.
I don't know. I mean, because I'm a teen mom, so at least a couple years now.
That's the problem.
See?
It's an age
teen
thing.
So why don't we just...
I like how you just
You've been
casually
going
throw
for
that.
5 years.
There you go. At
15.
least 5 years now. I don't know. We constantly would go to the fair. The fair was and then once you got old enough to get dropped off, it was the most freedom I ever had. So I love the fair.
It is pretty interesting. I have to ask everybody a question because I'm looking at her while she's talking, and I see that white wall over there. Why is there a sign on the wall that says wind with an arrow pointing that way?
I saw that earlier. I was wondering
What does
the
that
exact
mean?
What?
There's no
See the
wind.
blue
Oh,
sign?
the
left?
wind.
Yeah.
There's a little wind tunnel.
This says wind.
Wind tunnel. Yeah.
Yeah, so maybe if you're like
Really?
hot, you can go get a little bit of wind.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, it's in tape, so I don't know how official it is.
It's kind of weird if you ask me.
Let's meet at the wind.
Wind with an arrow.
Let's take the D off and stand next to it.
It'll all work out in the end.
Win.
So Reggie, how long you been coming up? Now, how long you live in Minnesota?
15 years.
So, 15 years. Okay, so
Yep.
since you were 2.
Right.
He goes right. So, how many times you come to the fair?
We're a good 2 or 3 times a year, family.
Oh, you do? You come 2-3 times a year?
Yeah. Before I started working out, and now I'm a 12-dayer. But like I told you, I'd never seen anything like this before I moved here, and I just fell in love with it. So
The Mississippi State Fair is not that big?
No, it's probably this area we're in right now.
This is the whole state fair in Mississippi. I was telling Reggie the other day that Hallie Barbour, the governor of Mississippi, was a pretty good friend of mine. He used to go see him all the time. And I would say, and I'm very serious about this, Mississippi might be one of the most underrated states in the United States.
Yeah, I can see that.
Really nice. What are you making a face for?
I have family that lives
been
in
there?
Mississippi. Yeah, like I've lived in
do?
Louisiana. For a little while. Like Mississippi's
That's
not an
right,
underrated
Louisiana.
state. That's
It
the
is
nicest
too.
thing anybody said about Mississippi.
You don't like Mississippi?
It's a fine place. I'm not vacationing in Mississippi.
Why not? The ocean's beautiful.
Yeah, it's peaceful, it's
The
quiet.
ocean. Yeah.
Tevin, are you going on record that you're anti-Mississippi?
Yeah, you're anti-
I will take that stance.
Whoa.
Except for Jackson. I have family in
Does
Jackson.
this have anything to do with, like...
I didn't want to bring it there. So we're moving. How long have you been coming to the state fair?
It's my second time in 52 years.
Oh, you're such a liar.
You love the state fair.
I've been here 8 billion times. Well, believe me, after this, I'm coming back more often because people are very, very nice. Haven't been booed once.
Hey.
Now I will be. But
Almost no pennies were thrown at you today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
no pay. Oh, that's
Hasselt's not here to chuck pennies at you.
I'm working at WDGY in 1975. I'm in a booth. I don't know where it was in here somewhere, but it's up a little bit. And these 4 guys are throwing pennies at me. And one of the guys is about maybe 12 years old, something like that. And I'm like, oh, geez. So I'm dodging pennies. About 20 years later, I talked to Jeff Passold about coming to work on the KQ morning show at the time. He goes, I'm going to tell you something. I said, what's that? And he goes, I was the one that was throwing pennies at you 20 years ago. I'm like, oh, great. So Passold and his brothers were pegging me with pennies.
Whipping
Now I got
pennies at you.
And now I adore that man. He's one of my favorite people in the world. I do miss Pass being here.
He's a good guy.
Now, the audio isn't perfect, so the word was pennies, Pennies, not panties.
Panties.
Because I thought
she said panties.
I thought she said.
I did. I thought you said panties.
Oh, that's why I got
although
that
people
look.
are throwing panties at
That's a
him.
different story.
Yeah.
Yeah, although it happens all the time wherever he goes, even if he's walking down the street.
But it's always
Yeah.
men.
A woman will take off her panties and throw them at him.
I was like, although if
To
Passel's
wash.
throwing panties at you, then that's
Oh,
probably
Passel's
Yeah, Passold's
always-
throwing
That's
panties
He
at
always
That's
has
exactly
panties
right.
on him, so
That's exact-
just to
oh,
throw.
thanks. He brought a beer for me. I like that. Two-fisted drinkers. That's working. By the end of the fair, those 3 will be going, what are you looking at?
sweat it all out while you're
So
walking around.
did Toots used to bring you guys to the fair?
Oh, God, no.
Where are they supposed to get
Where are we
steak?
going to get fair money?
Fair money.
That's what that would have been right there. No, we did not come to the fair when I was little. We didn't go. I think there was a North Side parade that I could watch in North Commons Park.
The Nazis going down North Minneapolis.
Yeah, exactly. It'd be a real thrill. No, they used to. You know what's funny about that, though?
Eat the newspaper.
Is I went to St. Joseph School, which is about a block south of Plymouth Avenue and 2nd or 3rd Street. So that's where we lived right across streets. But the funny thing about it is that very early in my life, the North Side Parade was on Plymouth Avenue. And then a couple years later, it moved up to Golden Valley Road. And then after that, it moved up to Broadway. It's like, we're getting as far away from the North Side as we possibly can with the North Side Parade.
Wow.
It's like, it says North Side Parade. Yeah, but we ain't going down there. I was like, okay. And I do believe, honestly, it ended up on the Parkway up there.
Okay.
What the hell's the name of the
Theodore
park?
Worth?
No, not the one that runs from west to east, just out of, it's parallels the entrance to Robbinsdale.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's the Parkway in any case, but They kept moving away from the crime. I will never forget that. We got to move here, and here. Okay, we got about 3 minutes.
Well, Ralph, you got to ask Ralph. How long have you been going to the fair?
Well, I started with Micah, but then he stabbed me.
Ralph
right in the
hasn't
back.
said it. How long have you been going to the fair, Ralph?
Oh, we started going here when I did a Saturday show about plastic surgery at the AM station, KSTV AM.
Wow.
We did it here from the fair on a Saturday. That's when my kids were with me. Lindsay took the kids over to some ride, and I watched the fella get the kids on the ride. He had missed a couple fingers from past accidents. Got him on the ride. He walks over to that big old lever, pulls that lever like this, lights a cigarette, smokes a cigarette. Cigarette's done. Ride's over, kids. Ride's over. So that was an 86.
That works out in the end. I like it. Any closing words should we go around the table with closing words? Should we do that?
Sure.
Michael, do you want to start?
Let's see.
And don't say the word Rico.
I won't say Rico. No, I won't.
Oh, the Rico. Rico,
I won't
baby.
talk about that. No, I've been an advertiser. I've worked with you for, a long time, and it's always, these are your fans, and
They're
it's great to
wonderful
see.
people.
And, at times they come to me for help, and I'm always thankful for everybody that does that. And it's always a joy working with you. And he is a good guy. That's what
Who, Don?
I get. No, you. Don's not.
Are you trying to ruin my reputation?
Don too well.
Yeah, Don's not that great a guy. Ralphie?
Oh, I'd have to agree. I think your fans are the greatest. They're the greatest.
These people are the
They're a great bunch of
amazing people. My
Level-headed
family
people.
adores all
Good
of you,
bunch.
by the way. She's having such a ball. I love that. She's just crawling around.
Oh, cool. Good to know.
Who hasn't done that?
Right?
Picking scabs off your father's legs.
Oh,
it's a
Grando.
Grando. Well, I suppose. I love grandkids. I'm telling you, like I said, the world's terrible. I'm a victim. It's just horrible. Really, I got a wife. I got kids. I got grandkids. I have a great life.
Yeah.
It's just, isn't that, right there. Nothing to be upset about with that happening.
Pets and grandkids. I like that.
What did you got to get?
Thank you. I'm working on I'm fostering Toby, but if anyone asks, he's terrible because I want to keep fostering him forever. Okay, cool.
It's all true.
My final word would be: I am glad to be back at the State Fair and see human beings. It's
Yes.
been a long time, and 60 years of looking into a camera lens and not seeing people, and that's why I always loved doing the fair, because I got to see the human beings who were actually in the audience, and I like doing that. And I wouldn't have, in any other circumstances, come back out to the fair after 320 days of my life being here broadcasting, but this guy calls, and I move when he calls. So I'm very glad to be among Tom's fans and friends.
Yeah.
You're a good man. Could you do me a favor in the purple?
Oh.
Could you move over just one seat for just 1 minute? Just for 1 minute, because there's a very specific reason I need you to do that. The show's sold out.
Yeah.
Every seat's taken.
Oh my God!
Yeah, baby. Oh, now you're going to fill that one up. Now we're talking.
Pat just left.
Oh, you did sell.
Pat ruined it.
Pat ruined it.
Pat ruined it. He gets
Always.
up. Waiting. I'm doing a video. All right.
Parting
Tevlar.
words. I've been fasting for a week, so I'm here. I'm coming back tomorrow. I'm going to eat until they wheel me out in a wheelbarrow. So if anybody has any suggestions on food to stop by, let me know. But yeah, I'll
Pork
repeat
chop on a stick. It's the best.
the pork. Okay,
It's good.
That is
absolutely.
good.
Pork chop.
I thought you
Pork
were
chop on
dump on
and
a
cheese
stick. I'm like,
curds.
what?
and cheese curds. I saw like there's a fried ravioli thing back here.
Oh,
Maybe
yeah,
stop
that looks
there.
good.
Going to have my girlfriend wheel me out of here tomorrow. But yeah, other than that, I'm glad to be here. This is my first time talking into a microphone on the State Fair, so I'm honored that you have me here, and yeah, I appreciate everything that you've done. You have, what was it been? I think it was like 22 when you pulled me into your studio.
You were 22?
working at the House of
Wow.
Comedy, and
Oh my God.
yeah, it's been all uphill or downhill depending on who you ask from since
Yeah,
then.
that's true. Absolutely right.
Push,
No
you need to
question.
get the dog some dog treats.
Yeah, I do
Right.
have to get Prince dog treats. Where are you
That's
at?
right. Pet Pavilion up at Machinery
Really?
Hill.
Oh,
Yep,
perfect.
next to the hangar.
You'll be seeing me tomorrow. You're gonna be there tomorrow, I'm assuming.
Yep, every
All
day.
right.
I was hoping Reggie would be taller than you.
I am. I think I am.
Yeah, we'll
Are you
I
a little
am.
bit?
He said
Like
it
you kinda
very
slouch?
I
I think so.
am.
I think
Just
I got
slouch over a little bit.
little point on my head that kind of
regrow my afro.
It all works out. Brittany,
I am dying. I am so happy. I get to have my mom and my kiddo
sister.
here. My sister.
they left.
And then I get to work with you guys. Just like, it feels like a surreal day. I just can't believe it. I've gone to the fair as a very, very broke intern, and now I'm a very, very broke old lady. So. I just surreal to be. I get to work with you guys. I just, like I said, I'm on like cloud 9. It feels like the best day ever. So
Sold out again.
Sold out.
Can I get a big round of applause for Tom Barnard Morning Show podcast and Don Shelby and all the guys visiting us? I think I'm cutting out, which is
No,
Tom. How about you? Any last words?
Any of my last words, I look at these people up here. They're my dear friends, each and every one of them. But I want to refocus. And again, we just sold it out again, thanks to the two of you showing up. We appreciate that immensely.
Oh, yeah. Download the app, Pat just
Yes,
said.
down at Tom Barnard. No, seriously, I can maybe tell by looking at the audience a little bit that back when I was at KQ, it was the highest rated morning show in America for 37 years. Wow. And it was because of you. You guys set an amazing record. And we're going to try to do it now with the podcast. It's already got 300,000 downloads. It's doing really well. So tell your friends, just the Tom Barnard app. Go to the App Store, Tom Barnard app. Listen every day. We'd love it when you call in because Brittany has to work then. She can just sit around.
Barely,
do
though.
nothing.
Don't worry. Barely.
And
So.
if we can get everybody to download the app, we get like a confirmation that you'll sing with that senior rock group that was before us? Like
Alive
next
and
year,
Kicking.
you'll open the
Seniors
show.
rock.
Are they all gone now? Is that where you're taking a shot at them?
I'm not taking it. They were very good. But I'm saying you could join them next year if we get everybody to download the app. You do a little
I
duet.
just think some people, it's nice to know that some people can't sing as well as Bruce Springsteen. And I don't mean that as a compliment, but no, this is not, because it's not who I am. And you can ask everybody up on the stage. I'm not big into butt kissing and all that stuff and stroking people. I don't do that. If I try, I start vomiting. It's that kind of deal. But you people are so special to me. You gave me a life that I can't even believe. I have a magnificent life, and it's all because of you people. So I think you should stand and give yourself a round of applause, is what I think. And I'm going to do it with you. Yeah, baby. Thank you.